The courtroom doors swing open, and immediately, you can feel it. There's a shift in the air. The usual hum of nervous defendants and shuffling papers goes quiet for just a moment as a man in a charcoal gray suit strides in like he owns the place. His shoes are polished to a mirror shine, his watch catches the fluorescent light, and his jaw is set with the kind of confidence that doesn't ask for permission. He's not walking to the defendant's podium. He's making an entrance. Judge Frank Caprio looks up from the file on his bench, his reading glasses perched on his nose, and for a second, he just watches. He's seen thousands of people walk through these doors. The scared ones. The apologetic ones. The ones who can barely look him in the eye. But this man? He's different. And Judge Caprio knows it before a single word is spoken. The bailiff calls the case. Docket number 4729. City of Providence vs. Marcus Thornhill. The name rolls off easily, but it's the file that makes Judge Caprio pause. 6 parking violations. All downtown. All in the same month. All unpaid. But that's not what catches his attention. It's the notes. The officer's report mentions something unusual. The defendant had been issued multiple warnings, multiple tickets, and each time, he'd said the same thing to the officer. "I'm too busy for this. I have people for that." Judge Caprio leans back in his chair and folds his hands. He doesn't speak right away. He just looks at Marcus Thornhill, who stands at the podium with one hand casually resting in his pocket, his expression somewhere between bored and impatient. The judge's eyes are kind, but they're also searching. He's reading the room. He's reading the man. "Mr. Thornhill," Judge Caprio begins, his voice soft but carrying weight. "Good morning." "Morning, Your Honor," Marcus replies, his tone clipped and professional, but there's no warmth in it. No humility. It's the voice of someone who's used to talking down, not across. Judge Caprio glances back down at the file, then up again. "So I'm looking at your record here, and I see 6 parking violations over the course of about 4 weeks. All in the downtown area. All in restricted zones." He pauses, letting the information settle. "And all ignored." Marcus shifts his weight slightly, but his expression doesn't change. "Your Honor, I run a company. I have over 200 employees. I'm moving between meetings all day, every day. I don't have time to circle the block looking for parking. I parked where I needed to park. There it is." Judge Caprio hears it immediately. Not an excuse. Not an apology. A justification. And not just any justification, one wrapped in entitlement. The courtroom is silent now. Even the clerk has stopped typing. Everyone is waiting to see how the judge will respond. Judge Caprio doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't scold. He just tilts his head slightly, the way he does when he's about to ask a question that matters. "You parked where you needed to park," he repeats slowly, as if tasting the words. "Even though the sign said no parking." "Correct," Marcus says, as if it's the most reasonable thing in the world. "I'm not trying to be difficult, Your Honor. I'm just explaining the reality of running a business. Time is money. I can't afford to waste either." Judge Caprio nods, but there's something in his eyes now. A flicker of something deeper. Not anger. Not judgment. Curiosity. "And the other people who need to park downtown?" he asks gently. "The people who follow the rules and circle the block. What about their time?" Marcus hesitates for the first time. Just a beat. Then he recovers. "With all due respect, Your Honor, I contribute more to this city's economy in a month than most people do in a year. I employ people. I pay taxes. I think that should count for something." The courtroom feels heavy now. A few people in the gallery exchange glances. The prosecutor shifts in her seat. But Judge Caprio doesn't react. Not yet. He just keeps looking at Marcus Thornhill, and his expression is unreadable. He's seen arrogance before. He's seen entitlement. But he's also learned, over decades on the bench, that people are rarely just one thing. There's always more underneath. Always. Mr. Thornhill, the judge says quietly, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to think before you answer. He leans forward slightly, his hands still folded. Do you believe the rules don't apply to you? Marcus opens his mouth, then closes it. For the first time, he looks uncertain. Not afraid. Not apologetic. Just caught off guard. And in that moment, Judge Caprio sees it. The crack in the armor. Judge Caprio doesn't push. Not yet. He sits back in his chair and flips through the file again, giving Marcus a moment to collect himself. The silence stretches, but it's not uncomfortable. It's purposeful. The judge is letting the question hang in the air, letting it do the work. Finally, Marcus clears his throat. I don't think the rules don't apply to me, Your Honor. I just think context matters. I'm not some kid joyriding or someone parking illegally because I don't care. I had reasons. Okay, Judge Caprio says, his voice still gentle. Talk to me. What are the reasons? Marcus hesitates again, and for the first time, his confident facade wavers. He looks down at the podium, then back up at the judge. I'm the CEO of a tech startup. We're in a critical phase right now. We're about to close a major funding round, and if we don't, the company folds. I've been working 18-hour days, 7 days a week. I'm meeting with investors, clients, partners all downtown. I don't have time to worry about parking. I can't. Judge Caprio listens without interrupting. He's heard 1,000 stories in this courtroom, but he never dismisses them. He never assumes. What kind of company? He asks. We develop software for healthcare systems, Marcus says, and there's a shift in his tone now. A little less defensive. A little more human. We help hospitals manage patient data more efficiently. It saves lives, honestly. When systems crash or data gets lost, people die. That's not an exaggeration. The judge nods slowly. That sounds like important work. It is, Marcus says, and for the first time, there's emotion in his voice. Real emotion. I started this company 5 years ago with 2 other people. We built it from nothing. We maxed out credit cards, slept in the office, ate ramen for a year straight. And now we're finally on the edge of making it. But if I can't close this funding round, it's over. 5 years down the drain. 200 people out of work. Judge Caprio absorbs this, his expression thoughtful. So the parking violations, he says carefully, they happened because you were rushing between meetings? Trying to save the company? Exactly, Marcus says, and there's relief in his voice now, like he finally feels heard. I wasn't trying to break the law, Your Honor. I was just trying to survive. The judge looks at him for a long moment, then glances at the prosecutor. What's the city asking for here? The prosecutor stands. Your Honor, the total fines come to $900. The city requests full payment. $900. Judge Caprio writes the number down, then looks back at Marcus. Can you afford to pay this? Marcus hesitates. It's a small hesitation, but the judge catches it. I can pay it, Marcus says finally. It's not about the money. Then what is it about? Judge Caprio asks, and his voice is softer now, more personal. Help me understand, Mr. Thornhill. Because right now, what I'm hearing is that you broke the rules because you were busy. But a lot of people are busy. A lot of people have important jobs. And they still follow the rules. So what makes your situation different? Marcus looks down again, and this time, he doesn't answer right away. The courtroom is completely silent. You can hear the clock on the wall ticking. Judge Caprio waits. He's good at waiting. Finally, Marcus speaks, and his voice is quieter now. My co-founder, one of the two people I started the company with, she's sick. She has cancer. Stage 3. She's been going through chemo for the past 6 months, and it's been brutal. She can't work most days. So I've been carrying the load for both of us. Every meeting, every pitch, every decision, it's all on me. And I know that's not an excuse, but I'm barely holding it together, Your Honor. Judge Caprio's expression changes. The curiosity is still there, but now there's something else. Compassion. Deep, genuine compassion. I'm sorry to hear that, he says quietly. What's her name? Rachel, Marcus says, and his voice cracks slightly. She's my best friend. We've known each other since college. She's the smartest person I've ever met. And watching her go through this. He stops, swallows hard. It's destroying me. The judge nods slowly, his eyes never leaving Marcus's face. Are you taking care of her? Helping her with treatment? I'm trying, Marcus says. I drive her to appointments when I can. I hired a nurse to stay with her during the day. But the treatments are expensive, and insurance doesn't cover everything. So the company has to succeed. It has to. Because if it doesn't, I can't afford to keep helping her. And I can't let her down. Judge Caprio sits back in his chair, his hands folded again. The anger that might have been there earlier is gone. Now there's only understanding. Mr. Thornhill, he says softly, I hear you. I hear what you're carrying. And I respect the fact that you're trying to do the right thing for your friend and your employees. But I need you to understand something. Marcus looks up, his eyes red-rimmed now. The rules exist for a reason, Judge Caprio continues. They're not there to inconvenience you. They're there to create order. To make sure everyone gets a fair chance. When you park illegally, you're not just breaking a rule. You're taking a spot that someone else might need. Maybe someone who's also rushing to a meeting. Maybe someone who's also carrying a heavy load. Do you see what I'm saying? Marcus nods slowly. I do, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking about it that way. Judge Caprio leans forward now, resting his elbows on the bench, his hands clasped together. His voice is gentle, almost fatherly. Mr. Thornhill, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. When was the last time you took a day off? Marcus blinks, caught off guard by the question. A day off? Yes, the judge says. A full day. No work. No meetings. No emails. When was the last time you did that? Marcus thinks for a moment, then shakes his head. I don't remember. Months, maybe. Maybe longer. Judge Caprio nods, as if he expected this answer. And when was the last time you slept a full night? Marcus laughs, but it's a hollow sound. I don't sleep much, Your Honor. Maybe 4 or 5 hours a night. 4 or 5 hours, the judge repeats, and there's concern in his voice now. And you're driving Rachel to her appointments on that kind of sleep? You're running a company. You're making decisions that affect 200 people. I don't have a choice, Marcus says, and there's desperation in his voice now. If I stop, everything falls apart. Judge Caprio shakes his head slowly. That's not true, Mr. Thornhill. That's what you've convinced yourself of, but it's not true. You do have a choice. You always have a choice. Marcus looks at him, confused. What choice? Let the company fail? Let Rachel lose her insurance? Let 200 people lose their jobs? No, the judge says firmly. The choice to ask for help. The choice to admit that you can't do this alone. Because right now, you're running yourself into the ground, and when you crash, and you will crash, Mr. Thornhill, everything you're trying to protect will crash with you. The words hit Marcus like a punch. His shoulders sag slightly, and for the first time, he looks truly vulnerable. I don't know how to ask for help, he says quietly. I've always been the one people rely on. I'm the CEO. I'm the leader. I'm supposed to have all the answers. Judge Caprio's expression softens even further. Mr. Thornhill, being a leader doesn't mean doing everything yourself. It means knowing when to delegate. When to trust others. When to admit that you're human. He pauses, letting the words sink in. Have you talked to your employees about what's happening with Rachel? About the pressure you're under? Marcus shakes his head. I didn't want them to worry. I didn't want them to think I couldn't handle it. But you can't handle it, the judge says gently. Not alone. And there's no shame in that. None. You're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you're breaking under it. I can see it in your eyes. I can hear it in your voice. Marcus looks down at the podium, his hands gripping the edges. When he speaks again, his voice is barely above a whisper. I'm so tired, Your Honor. I'm so tired I can't think straight anymore. I make mistakes. I forget things. I snap at people who don't deserve it. And I hate myself for it. Judge Caprio stands up now, something he rarely does during a hearing. He walks to the front of the bench, closer to Marcus, and his voice is filled with warmth. Mr. Thornhill, listen to me. You are not a bad person. You're a good person in a bad situation. You're trying to save your friend, save your company, save your employees. That's noble. But you're going about it the wrong way. You're sacrificing yourself, and that doesn't help anyone. Marcus looks up at him, tears welling in his eyes now. I don't know what else to do. Here's what you do, Judge Caprio says, his voice firm but kind. You go back to your office, and you call a meeting with your leadership team. And you tell them the truth. You tell them what's happening with Rachel. You tell them you need help. You delegate. You trust them to step up. Because I guarantee you, they will. People rise to the occasion when you give them the chance. Marcus nods, wiping at his eyes. Okay. I can do that. And then, the judge continues, you take a day off. A full day. You sleep. You eat a real meal. You give yourself permission to be human. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of anyone else. The courtroom is completely silent now. Even the prosecutor looks moved. Judge Caprio returns to his seat, but his eyes never leave Marcus. Your Honor, Marcus says, his voice thick with emotion, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for breaking the rules. I'm sorry for being arrogant. I thought I was doing the right thing. But I see now that I was just making excuses. Judge Caprio nods. I accept your apology, Mr. Thornhill. And I believe you. I believe you're a good man who got lost in the pressure. But here's what I need you to understand. The rules apply to everyone. No exceptions. Not for CEOs. Not for people under pressure. Not for anyone. Because the moment we start making exceptions, the system falls apart. Do you understand? I do, Your Honor, Marcus says. I really do. Judge Caprio picks up his pen and looks down at the file again. The courtroom holds its breath. This is the moment. The decision. The judgment. And no one knows which way it will go. Mr. Thornhill, the judge says, the city is asking for $900 in fines. That's $50 per violation, plus administrative fees. Under normal circumstances, I would impose the full amount. The law is the law. He pauses, and the silence is deafening. But these are not normal circumstances. Marcus looks up, hope flickering in his eyes. I've been on this bench for over 30 years, Judge Caprio continues, and one thing I've learned is that the law is not just about punishment. It's about justice. And justice means understanding context. It means seeing the whole person, not just the violation. He looks directly at Marcus now, his gaze steady and compassionate. You made a mistake. Actually, you made 6 mistakes. But I don't believe you made them because you think you're above the law. I believe you made them because you're drowning, and you didn't know how to ask for a life raft. Marcus's jaw trembles slightly, but he doesn't speak. He just listens. So here's what I'm going to do, Judge Caprio says. I'm going to reduce your fines. Instead of $900, I'm ordering you to pay $300. That's $50 per violation, with the administrative fees waived. A collective exhale fills the courtroom. Marcus's eyes widen in disbelief. Your Honor, Judge Caprio holds up his hand gently. I'm not finished. The $300 is your financial penalty. But there's a second part to this judgment, and it's non-negotiable. Marcus straightens, waiting. I'm ordering you to take 3 consecutive days off from work within the next 2 weeks, the judge says, and there's a hint of a smile on his face now. No meetings. No emails. No phone calls. 3 full days where you rest, recharge, and take care of yourself. And I want proof. I want a written statement from someone on your team, someone you trust, confirming that you actually did it. The courtroom erupts in quiet murmurs. Some people are smiling. Others are shaking their heads in amazement. The prosecutor looks stunned. But Marcus? Marcus starts to laugh. It's not a mocking laugh or a dismissive laugh. It's a laugh of relief. Of disbelief. Of gratitude. Your Honor, Marcus says, still laughing through tears, are you seriously ordering me to take a vacation? I'm ordering you to take care of yourself, Judge Caprio corrects gently. Because if you don't, you're going to end up back in front of me for something much worse than parking violations. And I don't want to see that happen. You're too valuable. To Rachel. To your employees. To your community. Marcus wipes his eyes again, nodding. I'll do it, Your Honor. I promise. Good, the judge says. And one more thing. I want you to set up a meeting with a counselor or a therapist. Someone you can talk to about the stress you're under. This isn't a suggestion, Mr. Thornhill. It's part of the court's order. You're carrying trauma, and you need help processing it. Professional help. Marcus nods again, more seriously now. I'll do that too. Thank you, Your Honor. I don't know what to say. Judge Caprio smiles, that warm, grandfatherly smile that has made him famous. You don't have to say anything. Just take care of yourself. And take care of Rachel. And when this is all over, when the company succeeds, when Rachel beats this thing, you come back and visit me. I want to hear the good news. I will, Marcus says, his voice breaking. I promise I will. But Judge Caprio isn't done yet. He picks up the phone on his bench and dials a number. Everyone watches, confused. After a moment, he speaks. Hi, this is Judge Caprio. I have someone in my courtroom who could use a little extra support. Can you send someone over? He listens for a moment, then nods. Thank you. He hangs up and looks at Marcus. I just called the Community Resource Center. They're going to send someone over to talk to you after we're done here. They can help connect you with support services, counseling, financial assistance for Rachel's medical bills, whatever you need. I want you to talk to them. Will you do that for me? Marcus is openly crying now, no longer trying to hide it. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Judge Caprio stands again and walks back to the front of the bench. He extends his hand, and Marcus shakes it, gripping it tightly. You're going to be okay, Mr. Thornhill, the judge says quietly. You're going to get through this. But you have to let people help you. Promise me. I promise, Marcus says. As Marcus steps back from the podium, Judge Caprio returns to his seat. But before he dismisses the case, he does something unexpected. He looks out at the courtroom gallery, at the people waiting for their own hearings, at the court staff, at everyone watching. I want to take a moment to talk about something, the judge says, his voice carrying through the room. We live in a world that glorifies being busy. That celebrates people who work 18-hour days and never take a break. We call them heroes. We call them leaders. We put them on magazine covers and give them awards. He pauses, letting his words settle. But what we don't talk about is the cost. The cost to their health. The cost to their relationships. The cost to their mental well-being. We don't talk about the fact that burning yourself out doesn't make you a hero. It makes you a cautionary tale. The courtroom is completely silent now. Every eye is on Judge Caprio. Mr. Thornhill came in here today thinking the rules didn't apply to him, the judge continues. Not because he's a bad person, but because he's been taught that success means sacrificing everything. That leadership means never showing weakness. That asking for help is a sign of failure. He shakes his head slowly. That's not true. That's never been true. And I hope that what happened here today reminds all of us, not just Mr. Thornhill, but everyone in this room, that we are human beings first. Employees second. CEOs second. Whatever title we carry, it comes second to our humanity. He looks directly at Marcus again. You have a big heart, Mr. Thornhill. You care deeply about your friend and your employees. But you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't save anyone if you're drowning yourself. So take those 3 days. Rest. Heal. And when you come back, you'll be stronger. Not weaker. Stronger. Marcus nods, unable to speak. Judge Caprio picks up his gavel, but before he strikes it, he says one more thing. And to everyone else in this courtroom, everyone watching, everyone listening, if you're carrying a burden that's too heavy, put it down. Ask for help. Talk to someone. Because life is hard enough without trying to do it alone. We're all in this together. He strikes the gavel gently. Court is adjourned. Mr. Thornhill, you're free to go. And good luck. Marcus stands there for a moment, as if rooted to the spot. Then he nods, wipes his eyes one last time, and walks toward the exit. But before he leaves, he turns back and looks at Judge Caprio one more time. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't need to. The gratitude is written all over his face. Judge Caprio smiles and gives him a small nod. And then Marcus walks out, into the hallway, where a representative from the Community Resource Center is already waiting. The courtroom slowly comes back to life. The next case is called. Papers shuffle. Life goes on. But for everyone who witnessed what just happened, something has changed. A reminder has been planted. A seed of compassion has been sown. And in Providence Municipal Court, under the gentle but firm guidance of Judge Frank Caprio, justice isn't just about following the rules. It's about understanding the people behind them. It's about seeing their struggles, hearing their stories, and extending a hand when they need it most. Because in the end, that's what separates a courtroom from a community. And that's what separates a judge from a healer. That day, Marcus Thornhill didn't just get a reduced fine. He got something far more valuable. He got permission to be human. He got a wake-up call. He got hope. And sometimes, that's the most powerful judgment of all.